Alright, hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This video is a part of or a beginning of a new series that I'm thinking of starting on my channel, where we pick up a used A2A Comanche, which we have one right here. I just bought it at Santos Dumont, and we are going to start this series where we pick up this used aircraft and age it and see what happens to it. This is an ACUSIM aircraft. It is a living, breathing airplane. The engine ages, the airframe ages, oil ages, and like all kinds of stuff. So you can, by the way, if you don't have this one, it's one of the best. I'm not sponsored by A2A or anything, but one of the best add-ons you can invest in for Msfs 2024. Now it's native for 2024, by the way. So yeah, we basically have a used aircraft here. Today's flight plan is going to be, we are going to take off from Santos Dumont, so that's SBRJ. And you see that hill right there, we have the Christ statue there. So my plan is to take off from Santos Dumont, do a nice little flight, scenic flight over that hill. Now I know there's a restricted airspace there, I believe, if I'm not wrong. So if I load up Navigraph charts here, and although we don't have true VFR charts in this area, I'm sure we have something. And I see that there is a restricted airspace from like ground to 4,500, but for this flight we're just going to ignore. We will assume that we have clearance to fly through it. So the plan will be to take off from Santos Dumont, just fly around this hill, look at the statue, do like a nice scenic flight. We'll assume we have our wife on board. We're taking her on a nice little flight up there, and then we'll land back here. It's a new used airplane, so hopefully nothing goes wrong and we'll both be back safe at Santos Dumont. So let's start with, oh, by the way, if you're into, I know not a lot of people are going to watch GA videos. Most people are interested in airliners. So if you're watching this and if you like what you see and if you'd want me to continue this, I would highly appreciate if you'd just leave a like, leave a comment down below. What are you guys flying? Do you fly A2A aircrafts at all? What has your experience been? All that kind of stuff. I love hearing stories from you guys. So yeah, leave a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, all that usual stuff. But anyway, you can see that we have some dust accumulated here, so it's not a clean airplane. It is a fairly used airplane. Let's just move around a bit and just make sure we like what we are flying here. You can see that the airframe has seen some days here as well. You can see that the wing is not the cleanest. So a lot of detail has been put into this A2A aircraft. By the way, I'm crouched right now just so that you guys can see. You can see, right? Like it's so dirty. It's amazing the amount of detail that they've put in. So yeah, there's that. And then what we are going to do real quick now is hop into the cockpit. So let me use my I'm in the walk around mode, so I'll have to go Shift C. By the way, this is going to be a very unedited series because I want to share the raw experience of flying the A2A Comanche. So that's what we're going to do. So I am going to go, first things first, I'm going to go to maintenance. So we'll assume that we are in the hangar right now and we are just kind of checking out what we've got here. So we have a used Comanche which has been flown for 4,643 hours. The engine has been overhauled and it has been 1,910 hours since the last overhaul. Now, I know usually engines get overhauled at 2,000 hours if I'm not wrong, but I'm sure there'll be stuff that'll show up which would encourage us to overhaul. We can wash the plane and clean the bugs. I don't see a lot of bugs, but we can wash the plane and you'll see that all that dust and stuff that you saw outside will go away, but we'll leave it alone for a while and we'll just fly it as is. Now, first things first, it is exactly the config that I want. Everything fully decked airplane. I'll hit inspect and see what problems we see. By the way, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that you guys can easily see what's going on here. So we have a problem with the brake. So we'll see what that is. Brake pads are worn down, should be replaced now or in the very near future. We'll go ahead and replace that now because it's not fun to have bad brake pads. And hopefully I can click on this thing. I remember someone mentioning, okay, there you go. So I remember someone mentioning to me that if there is a clickable spot behind the EFB, then you will have problems clicking on the stuff on the EFB. So just some tip there. The battery should be replaced soon. Take note how well it cranks when starting and let the generator work. Okay, we'll just get it replaced. We'll get it all green. So looks like everything is good. Low voltage warning has also gone away from here. Next thing we'll do is we'll inspect the engine, and we see that cylinder 3 and 6 are not compressing enough. So first things first, oil lines, I'm sure there's something wrong there, getting old and not as flexible as when new. Let's fix that. Oil lines are fixed. Oil pump has some time on it, so we can assume it could be wearing down. Let's fix that as well. Electric fuel pump, the booster pump, the auxiliary pump, while it is still operating, you can still fly with this pump, but overall is recommended. Let's fix that too. And then fuel filter has some time on it. Fuel pressure may already be we don't want that. Let's get that out of the way as well. Cylinder 3, I am guessing that has seen some time on it, so let's replace that. And cylinder 6, we'll replace that as well. I guess cylinder 2 is almost on the verge of getting bad on compression, so let's run it through again. Okay, looks fine. So we can confirm that our airframe and engine are now good. And another thing we'll assume is that we've checked all the, by the way, I am a private pilot, so I'll try to add whatever I can in terms of like context and stuff compared to real world, but then I'm not like very actively flying in real world, so just pardon me if I make some mistakes here. But anyway, we'll assume that the documents and everything is all verified and checked, so there's no problems with that. And then airframe and engine's good. I think we can go ahead and do our nice little walk around. Before that, let's make sure that the fuel and payload. So we have seat 1 filled up with myself, and I am 208 pounds right now, so I'm gonna do that. And we'll assume that wife is, let's say, 150. That heavy? I don't know. Anyway, so fuel, I think we have enough fuel, don't need to fill the left and right tips up. That's good. Okay, fuel and payload looks good. In terms of controls, we are going to use GTN 750XI. By the way, I have the TDS GTN 750XI in case you guys are wondering. Everything here is good. We'll remove the control locks at least, because we are going to move the control surfaces, and you don't want to move the control surfaces with these locks on. Now, next thing, we are going to go down here and we will get the master switch on, landing lights on, strobe on, beacon on, pitot heat on. We'll get the nav lights on as well. Why is it not doing anything there? Not sure. Okay, there you go. Not sure why it's not spinning it when it should, but I guess we'll turn that on as well. I'm having to scroll through the whole thing. Usually what happens is I can just click on it and it just rotates, but it's just not doing it today. Anyway, let's just scroll through it, and we'll just leave it on when we turn off the battery. Should be fine. We'll also check that all the circuit breakers are in, so there's no problem there. Okay, let's get out before the battery wears off, and let's just go ahead and do our walk around. So usually what I do is I'd go run towards the other side, because that's where I would come out from, and we would start our walk around from here. So basically from the back side of the wing here, because that's where you come out. Okay, so first things first, here you check, make sure all the rivets are good, there's no abnormalities on the airframe, everything looks good on the leading edge of the horizontal stab. Looks great. We'll go ahead and remove this tie down here, and then also we can quickly just move our elevator and make sure it's free. Rudder, I would say that my instructor at least told me that you should not yank this rudder. I mean, sure, you want to check it, but don't just yank it, because this thing is connected to your nose wheel, so you don't want to damage something, because nose wheel is locked in a position, right, when it's standing there, so you don't want to damage anything. Anyway, just checking through the airframe, nothing wrong here, nothing wrong here. Look at my shadow there. Oh, that's a lot of hair. I don't have that much hair left. Anyway, so that's our baggage compartment, so we'll open that and we'll fill in, so we can fill in one bag, that's good enough, and then we'll check the flap here. I guess one more thing we'll do is when we go in, we'll just give our flaps a quick check. We'll remember that. Usually I just get them down when I turn on the battery. So right aileron looks fine, remove this tie down. Ideally I would also check fuel, but I'm sure I can't see anything here. It's only 3 gallons in the tip tank, so we shouldn't really see much, so we'll just leave that alone. And leading edge here looks good, landing light looks good. I also saw that the nav light was on, so that's great. And coming down here, everything looks good. A little bit of wear on the leading edge of the wing, but that's fine. And then coming forward here, ideally another thing I would do is check fuel on my right tank, but I'm sure in this walk around mode it's not like I can see it anyway. And then the last thing I would do is drain the fuel from here and make sure that there's no water in fuel. Now that's something I would love to do. Okay, the strobe is good. Yeah, I would love to drain fuel, but it's just so hard. I wish they figure out a way to sneak, below the aircraft to drain fuel. It's just so hard. We're going to skip that, but we'll assume that we did that. I'm assuming that we won't run into problems because of that. So anyway, coming forward here, checking out the prop. Prop looks pretty good actually. There's some wear on the edges, but nothing crazy. Spinner looks good, no screws popping out. By the way, if you see, there's only one place on the airframe where they use screws. It's one here on the spinners, and then I guess there's some screws on the cowling. And then I would also check inside the engine compartment here. One, you would check for the alternator belt, make sure that the belt is nice and tight. And the other thing you would check is make sure there's no nest inside, because that would be terrible. And then go down here, make sure the air filter looks good, not clogged or anything. Make sure the wheel suspension is good. By the way, whenever you're looking at the wheels, make sure that the treads are good, so they're not like worn out or anything. I assume A2A would have modeled that as well, so it's good to check, because then otherwise if they are worn out, then you'll have less braking, and you don't want that. Anyway, so that's done. Now the next thing to check would be the oil. That's the fun part. Now let's see how our oil looks like, because this is a used airplane, so I would expect that the oil, oh my, look at that oil, guys. Look at that oil. That oil is completely black, so we're gonna have to replace oil. So we'll remember that. 2 things to remember: one, flaps check, and second is we need to change the oil. Oil is totally black. That's very common on a used airplane. I've seen in A2A. That's something you have to check. I mean, I'm sure that oil will do it for one flight, but it's better to just get it swapped right now. Okay, so that wheel chokes out. This we'll check this one. Works free and correct. Landing light here is on, nav light here is on. Fuel, we said we'll just ignore it and we'll trust our fuel quantity gauge. Aileron right there is good, free, and flaps. I mean, it's locked in place, but like I said, we'll do it again. We'll give it a check whether flaps are working or not. Rotating beacon, as you can see on the top, that's good as well. Okay, so the walk around is done. Only two things left to check is we will get the flaps going as we get in, and then the next thing is we would what was the other thing? Oil change. So let's get in here and let me reset my view. Let me reset my track IR here, make sure everything is correctly situated. And while the battery is on, let me get the flaps fully down, make sure they are working. And I can actually go out real quick and just make sure that they're locked in place. That's all I'm looking for. They're not freely moving or anything, because that would be terrible. So anyway, flaps are good. I'm gonna get the flaps up now, and then we can sneak down here, turn all of this off. I would also have checked pitot heat, whether it's working or not. It's not needed today, and also A2A hasn't really included the functionality yet where you would press on the pitot heat and it would turn red to show you that the temperature of the pitot tube has gone up. So there's no point in really checking that, but ideally you would check that as well. So yeah, everything is good overall, and the only thing left now is to swap the oil. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. It should be in the engine. Usually to swap the oil, I would just go turn this to 0, and then I would go and turn this to full. Okay. Now it's always good to, after you do that, it's always good to just quickly go to the front, run to the front, and give it just another check, because why not? Let's give it one more check here and make sure that the oil is there. You go. That's much cleaner. That's what I would expect to see. By the way, I never see that in the real world. These beaten down school planes, oh man, I've seen that black oil sometimes when I fly, but usually my instructor would give me a bottle to either top it up, or they'll put it down for a change. Anyway, so idle, we are not going to mess with idle today. Let's just get out of here. So we have 6 knots of wind, 6 knots of headwind actually, which means we have tailwind if we take off from here. So you'll have to go back, taxi all the way, and take off from the other runway, which is totally fine. I'm not annoyed about that. So let's see where we're at here and make sure that we know our taxiway routes. Okay, so I think I would just take a right from here, go back here, and then we can even take Charlie, because we don't need the whole runway for this airplane. So yeah, that's the plan. Okay, pre-flight is complete. We'll make sure all the documentations are good. Airworthiness certificate, pilot's operating handbook, weight and balance, registration, all that stupid stuff. Passengers are briefed, the seatbelts secure. We'll assume that's the case. What's the temperature outside today? 26 C, so kind of warm. Let's just keep this thing on or open. Control locks are removed. Parking brake, I see parking brake is set. Gear switch is down and verified on the hardware. It's down as well. And then, another thing I quickly want to verify is, so this is my mixture, okay. This is my prop and this is my throttle. Got it. Okay. Gear switch, good. Flaps are up. Radios are off. Autopilot master. I'll just give that a quick check, because what if someone flicked it and just left it as is. Okay, so that's off. Avionics master, by the way, that's possible when you're using a used airplane. There can be switches just in the wrong place, and then you would just not realize until you run into a situation. So all electrical switches off, circuit breakers we already checked. It's in. We will turn the rotating beacon on and then move on to the engine start checklist. Fuel selectors to desired tank we will see here. Left main, right main, looks good. Mixture to rich, so we'll get this in. And then throttle cracked, props already fully forward, so no problems there. Carb heat is off, that's our carb heat here. Master switch on and fuel pump on. And let's see if the fuel pressure goes up. Fine, it should in just a second. There you go. Okay, fuel pressure is pretty much in the green, so that's good, and we can turn the fuel pump off. Now next thing you would do is prime the engine. So I would, it's a warm enough day, I would still give it like 4 primes and then lock the primer in. By the way, this is like, I'm trying to follow as much as real as possible, but there's always stuff that you miss out. Mags on to both. Yeah, hopefully you guys, oh, by mistake I flipped that circuit breaker. Max to both, prop area clear, and then we'll engage the starters here. Make sure I'm not zoomed in weird or anything. So we'll just shout clear prop, clear prop. Shout really loud there, and then get the starter in. I would also press the brakes just in case, just in case it just starts running. Brakes, no problem there, so that's great. I'm gonna turn the volume down just a tad bit because I know you guys probably blowing your ears out. Okay, much better. Now, what else do we have here? I forgot where we were at. Okay, so prop area clear, starter oil pressure looks good in the green. Oil temperature will slowly come up, and that should be good. Mixture lean as required. We can lean it a tad bit. It's not absolutely essential. We also want to control our engine temperatures in this high temp environment. Nav lights, let's get the nav lights on. Again, we have to just scroll through this. I hope there's a better way of doing this, but for now I just haven't found it. We'll just get the nav lights on here. Okay, nav lights are on. Primer is locked in. Avionics master, we'll get that on. Ammeter check. Ammeter looks good, positive. And radio's on, so we'll get this on. Don't need it, but we'll get it on. Continue, and map. That looks good. So I love this. I love having this TDS GTN XI. It's amazing. Get this out of the way as well. Now it should give us a USD value of how much fuel we're spending. Transponder as required. We're just going to squawk VFR, which typically, it's 1200. It's already squawked VFR. Altimeter set. We're going to see what our altimeter is today. It's 1013 hectopascals. So 1013. That should be good. Just to verify our altitude here, because it should be there on our VFR charts, but if not, it's fine. Yeah, I guess it's not. We'll assume that our altitude is like what, so that's like 85 to 90 feet, and it sounds believable. Altimeter is good. Heading indicator set. I think it's set. We're going to follow this heading after takeoff. The plan is we'll take off, we'll take a left turn, get out of the pattern, go to the hill, come back in for a landing. Okay. Parking brakes release, and we'll check the brakes here real quick. So release the parking brakes. Let's see if the brakes work. Left brake is good. Right brake is also good, and if I press both the brakes, it all works fine. Oil temperatures are coming up. Cylinder head temperatures are climbing as well. Let's check the engine temperatures. Engine temperatures are fine. They are running a little bit on the hotter side, I guess. But definitely the best way to manage temperatures on this engine is just to ridge the mixture out. So okay, now run up. I guess run up, we'll just do the run up when we get to the runway. I think that's easier. We'll just face the wind and do the run up that way. Or actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it, because we are facing the wind right now. So let's just go ahead and do it. Hold brakes. Fuel quantity check. Fuel quantity looks good. Mixture as required. We'll go full mixture on our run up. Throttle to 2000 RPM. Let's get that going. Okay, 2000 RPM and stable. Engine instruments, oil pressure, oil temperature, fuel pressure, everything looks good. EGT and CHT, all of that is fine as well. Magnetos check. So let's go ahead and check magnetos here. Right. Good, no drop. Left. Well, it's like 50 RPM drop, but that's within limits. Right again, just to confirm. Okay, looks good. Magnetos look good. Prop, let's cycle the prop. 1800 and then back to 2000. Let's do that 3 times. And then let's reduce to about 1800 and see if we're able to maintain a stable RPM there. By the way, the engine ages as you go and as you use it. So 1800 and stable, that's good. Let's make sure the carb heat works. How do you make sure that the carb heat works or not? When you pull the carb heat, you will see that the RPM drops. That's just because hot air is now going in instead of colder air. That just shows that carb heat is actually working. So carb heat is good. Before takeoff, we'll get the throttle down again, maybe like 900 RPM or so. You see how the engine, like the airframe, vibrates? That's all from the aging. It's all happening because the airframe ages as you use it. Before takeoff, we'll do that as we reach our runway. So let's get going on the taxi. For taxiing, I am going to turn on at least this, and we are going to shut the window out now so that the sounds are a little bit more muffled, because I'm done listening to the engine. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Let's make sure there's nothing else remaining just visually apart from, you know, checklist stuff. Okay, we're good. We are good. Let's get the parking brake out of the way and then let's get going. This is so much fun. And this airplane is so satisfying to fly. I can't even explain. I hope you guys also have fun watching this series as much as I am having fun making it. Because it's not fun when you make something, but then you have fun making it, but then not a lot of people watch it. Like, people just like watching these stupid videos, like how to make your sim look good. My MSFS settings. These 3 settings will kill your MSFS. All these kind of videos, and then I get burned out making those videos, man. It's the same shit, the same thing. Like, how many times do people, you know? I mean, yeah, I'm ready to make updates on, like, if something really changes. But then this is what I really like making, like experiences with different airplanes and like landing videos and cinematic stuff, and then I just get so discouraged when nobody watches that, or YouTube doesn't even show it, I guess, because it just doesn't fit with with the type of audience that was gained through my previous videos or something. I don't know, but hopefully this sticks with people, and hopefully people enjoy this. By the way, I should not be crossing from here, but it's fine. Also, we are going to do a no flap takeoff. Let's get this out of the way. By the way, these move too. By the way, these will also move around as your engine and airframe ages. That moves around. I'm assuming that depending on how you use the airplane, that doesn't just stay there, the visors or whatever you call it. Do you think we have enough runway? Let's just quickly check. I think we do. We don't need to go all the way there. I think we have enough runway. How about we just try taking off from here? Actually, we have to take so there's no path to the runway from here, so we have to take a right and then go forward and then maybe take the next available taxiway. By the way, this airport actually is default, and it's surprisingly good. Maybe it's not default, it's something I might have downloaded off of flightsim.to, but check out flightsim.to SBRJ. There's probably only one scenery. I think that's the one I have, and it actually looks really good. It's a great airport, and the surrounding area, as you will see when we fly, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a very scenic flight. Oh boy, this video is already 30 minutes long. That's not going to stick, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I just love making these videos, man. I just love making these videos. I could have live streamed this because it's pretty much the same thing, right? But I don't know. I just wanted to record this in like a very high quality, high bitrate. That's just something that this airplane deserves to be recorded in. Anyway, so we are on the holding point now, so we'll run through the before takeoff checklist real quick here, and also review the takeoff, climb and cruise data just to be sure we know what we're going to do. Okay, the altitude we are going to fly at today, probably 2 to 3,000. I'll see how it looks like from up there, but we definitely want to stay below 3, somewhere at 3 or below 3. So yeah, controls free and correct. Let's make sure that's true. Rudder full left, rudder full right. I mean, I can feel that it's free and correct, but I can't really look back. So controls are good. Elevator trim, very important to check that. I have a video on my channel where I forgot to check that, and I had it turned all the way up, and I pretty much crashed after takeoff because I didn't figure out what was going on. Rudder trim is good. Rudder trim should be fine. And then doors are all latched. We're good there. Let's make sure. Yep, all good. Flaps as desired. We will not need flaps at all. Fuel pumps. We'll turn on the fuel pump, and we need to turn off the fuel pump at 1,000 feet. Mixture full rich. Prop full forward. Carb heat is off. Engine gauges still look good. Temperatures are looking good since we have reached the mixture. It is in control now. What else? Pitot heat, don't need it. Strobes as required, and landing lights as required. Now, usually you just keep landing lights on below 10,000 feet, but we can take off and turn it off. Let's see if we remember. Throttle full open, airspeed indicator. We are going to rotate at 85 miles per hour, and then we are going to climb at 105, which is our best climb rate speed. Gear up, emergency landing area, don't need that. I mean, we might. Okay, fuel pump off at 1,000 feet, power reduced at 1,000 feet to 24. Remember that. CHTs check, mixture lean as required. We might not have to lean because we are not going above 3,000. And then cruise settings. By the way, if you guys are ever confused about what settings to run for climb, cruise and stuff, you can just refer to this aircraft page, and it's all right here. So we'll keep referring to this as we go, because it's been a while since I've flown this one. Okay, so I think we are good to go up until climb. We'll just run through the climb checklist. We will do all the memory items and then just run through it as we get time. Okay, no flaps, everything looks good. Let's get going. Let's check the final, make sure there's nobody landing. There shouldn't be anyone, nobody landing in. Don't need the full runway, so we're just taking maybe like 75% of the runway. That's good enough. By the way, if you feel like your airplane is kind of turning off at idle, like if you cut down your throttle, you can always go to the EFB and adjust your idle. Elevate the idle just a bit so that your 0 point is at a higher RPM, which will help the engine to run more stable or something. But if there's no problems, I wouldn't mess with it. Anyway, let's go. Alright, full throttle and give it right rudder, just like in real world. This airplane does require quite a bit of right rudder, even in normal conditions, so just make sure you're doing that, which is very realistic. 85 knots, we'll rotate at 85. Ooh, there was some turbulence. Positive rate, get up. Okay, so we're going to try to keep it at 105 climb rate. That's what it should be. And look at that, so stable, man. I love this airplane. And look at that view as well. Holy, I love that. Oh man, this is a beautiful flight right there. This is going to be a beautiful flight. I hope people actually get to see this video or this series. So we're going to try to keep it at 105. I'm not going to be very exact because I'm also trying to kind of admire the scenery, but this is amazing. I know there's some bleeding going on with the photogrammetry, but holy shit, that looks so good. Okay, so we need to keep an eye on our target there. That's where our hill is, and that's where we're going. Did speed up a little bit. We're at 1000 feet, so I'm going to get the fuel pump off. I'm going to also get the RPM to like 2300 or something, and then also reduce the manifold pressure to like 24, because we don't want to age the engine faster than normal. And if you redline the engine constantly, then it's going to age faster. So anyway, I'm still applying right rudder, which is exactly how the real airplane works. So there's nothing out of ordinary. I can tell you, having flown the Cessna 172 so much, just in general from my general aviation experience in real world, this airplane is extremely well done. Look at that right rudder that I'm having to apply just to keep it coordinated. Okay, so you see that ball right there? So I am coordinated with this much right rudder. If I'd leave that, you see how I go uncoordinated? Like the ball is shifting to the right. And that's because we are climbing at a higher power setting. So you need the most right rudder when you're climbing at a higher power setting. That's when you need the most right rudder. You'll see that in cruise you won't need as much right rudder. But the worst case scenario for right rudder is when you see that mechanical turbulence that you feel right above the hills. That's amazing. And we're here out at the statue, so I'm going to stabilize just a little bit. We will fly around the island. I know this is going to be a longer form video, but that's totally fine. I just like doing this kind of stuff. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Oh man, that's going to be an amazing flight. And of course I went out just to check out the statue, but I didn't get a good view of it because cinematic mode messed me up. So we are going to take a nice turn here and see if we can get another look at it, because our passenger princess thought that that was too quick. Again, here I'm just kind of VFR maneuvering. I'm not trying to like watch any speeds or anything, because we're just trying to get around the hill here, and you know, we know the terrain well enough now. Okay, let's see if I can get some throttle out of the way, slow down a tad bit. By the way, since the gear is up, you won't be able to turn the throttle fully down, because it's going to start the gear alarm. I can demo that. There you go. That's the alarm I was talking about. Anyway, let's go around the island a bit. We got a decent look at it, and while we come back to land, we are going to get another look at the statue as well. So man, that photogrammetry looks amazing, flawless. Of course, like at low altitude, it's not that impressive. It's just because it feels like the buildings are bleeding. But from this altitude, like what's that, like 2,500? It looks so good. I do see some popping going on. I wonder why that's the case, because my LOD is set to like 250 or something. But yeah, again, not watching speed or anything, just enjoying the views here. Beautiful, beautiful island. Island, or I guess area. It's not really an island, it's more like shore. I do have my traffic turned up, so you can see all these cars on the road. Everything just so real looking. Oh man, weather is also perfect for VFR flying. There's not much winds, probably like 6 knots of headwinds what we had. Even at this altitude, I don't feel as much. But by the way, this is one of the airplanes where I've actually felt turbulence and wind. Otherwise, I feel like most of the airplanes are just like flying on rails, but A2A has ICUE has completely changed the game here. I'm not trying to run into this hill. I'm just trying to pass the statue from like really close proximity so that we can have a good look at it. Yeah, I know. That's what I love about the GTN XI. Let's say the weather was really bad. I could just turn right from here and not run into this hill. I think we are still good. I'm gonna take a nice close turn, and hopefully we'll get to see this nicely. Look at that. There you go. That's very well modeled. Okay, so far so good. So far so good in our nice little used airplane. So far so good. We're not going to run through the cruise checklists because we are just kind of maneuvering, so all of this here should be fine. Throttle prop, we are within the limits and all of that. We're just kind of maneuvering, so it's fine. But we will do our approach checklist after we go around. Maybe let's go around this hill. Let's do that. And then let's also get our throttle going, because I didn't mean to slow down that much. Another thing that I've seen about this A2A Comanche is that it's very easy to trim this airplane at a particular speed and throttle position. It's amazing. I'm using the Bravo throttle quadrant, and I can just use this trim wheel to pretty much tune it, to the T. Look at that. So right now I'm having to give a little bit of downward elevator input. So I'm just giving that input, and while I'm giving that input, I'm just kind of trimming the airplane and then slowly taking away that pressure from the control column. Remember, you're not supposed to leave the control column and then trim the airplane. You're supposed to trim the airplane while giving that input and then letting go of the control column pressure. You know. So again, I'm climbing just a tad bit. So I'm pushing forward, very minor push forward, and then trimming it down as we go. And then relieving some pressure, checking the V speed again. If it's less, push down again. And then that's it. Look at that. Beautifully trimmed. No autopilot required. It just flies, man. It just flies. It's so stable. So stable. I love this airplane. Of course, there's like some environmental factors, right? So it's not like you would maintain exact zero V speed, just like in real world. But you would at least be able to like dial it down in a way that you won't have to give too much input. So we are at 2200. I feel fine. I think it's low enough so that we can enjoy the scenery and not high enough to be worried. Let's pull up our checklist here. I do want to make sure that we follow everything today. So autopilot master will be off, fuel pump will be on, so we'll turn on the fuel pump. This is just in case something goes wrong. You don't want to be stuck with engine driven fuel pumps. You should have the backup pumps on. Fuel levels check, we are good. Fuel pressure check, all good. Mixture is rich, prop is full forward, carb heat is off. I don't think we'll need that. Airspeed is 120 down and then gear down. Flaps as desired. We'll go full flaps today. And then GUM checklist. That's fine. We'll also run through the landing, make sure there's nothing crazy that we would miss. Just something to remember, the approach speed is 90 miles per hour. So we'll do that. And okay, everything is good. The only thing we need to worry about now is gear and the flaps. So what we are gonna do here is we'll cross midfield at say 1000 feet. So I'm gonna kill the throttle just a tad bit, start descending, go to like close to 1000 feet. That's what our pattern altitude should be. So we'll cross midfield here, take a left turn and come back in for a landing here, right where we took off from. So let's start descending. We're descending at like 500 feet per minute, decent, nothing crazy. We'll go prop full forward since we are in the approach phase. Trim is good. We'll fly as is for now. And just one thing to remember is that you always have to neutral the trim after shutdown. We'll go through that checklist. Yeah, this has been a fun video to record and a fun flight. I love that. And hopefully this series can keep going if there's enough interest. Otherwise, I'm definitely going to fly offline. It's just that if there is interest, I'm going to take the effort to record and upload as we age this November 764 Lima mic. Hopefully soon we'll also have VFR functionality on Beyond ATC, so that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. So the gear horn will come on. I don't want to annoy you guys with that, so I'll just try to keep my throttle just above that threshold point. And we are at 1000 feet now. We'll take a nice left turn here, and then just keeping track of where the runway is. Look at that. Can you call it downtown? I guess I can call it downtown. That looks amazing. Okay, we're descending a little too fast here. That looks so good, guys. Look at that. I love that. Okay, still keeping track. Now we're parallel to the runway, so pretty much downwind. We'll take our base turn as we get closer. We are in the flaps range pretty much. I'll go flaps 1 so that we can start slowing down a little bit more, because remember, flaps add lift but then they also add drag. So we'll take our base down right above this building here. I know we are going a little bit wider, but I just want to be safe because this is a new area for me. When I fly around my native area, I would know exactly where to turn. Like, I would have my visual waypoints, you know. Anyway, I think at this point we can also get the gear down. Don't want to worry about that at the end. Mixture full, prop full, landing lights good, gears down, and flaps can keep coming down. Flaps full, all dumped, checked, and then the last thing we need to do is control our throttle to make sure that we are at 90 miles per hour. For now it's fine. I am a little bit high, so I'm just cutting the throttle and trying to descend here. We do want to land on this left side runway. Okay, speed is coming down just fine. I'm not too worried about being high actually, because it's a fairly long runway for this airplane. We're getting in 90 miles an hour. Looks good. 2 reds, 2 yellows, a little bit red. Still 90, good. Roughly 50. Okay, let's cut down throttle at this point, and then don't let it land until it wants to. There you go. You saw the stall light come on, and exactly then we touched down. That was a beautiful landing. We didn't record the landing rate, but that I can tell that was a really good landing. You want to just let the airplane settle. Don't land, and just let it settle. So exactly when that stall warning light came on, that's when I touched down. That's perfect. I love that. Anyway, so after landing, let's make sure we get everything right here. Flaps up. Ideally, you would just get out and then do this checklist. What I was told in real world is you should not run your checklist unless you are at a complete halt. So let's try to do that. Even though I ran through one item, that's fine. Let's just follow the rules. Let's go around. Let's not go fully low RPM because I'm afraid my engine would shut down. That sound, I didn't like it. Anyway, so there are a lot of GA parkings here. Maybe I can just turn into this one and then park somewhere along that line, because all of these parkings on the cross sections are general aviation parkings. At least that's what my chart shows. So we're going to assume that that's our parking. And remember, the way you leave the airplane, you will find the airplane in the exact same manner, and the way you leave the airplane also affects aging of the airplane. So this is one of those add-ons where you would actually want to follow all the procedures, turn the aircraft off and stuff like that. Make sure everything is good, secured before you exit. And that's what I love about this. Like, it's almost like owning your real airplane, but in sim. Man, I get so excited when I fly this airplane. It's amazing. Okay, let's run through it now. Flaps up. We will set the parking brake so that we don't have to apply brake pressure here. Strobe lights off. We'll also turn off the landing lights, and fuel pump off, and then mixture lean as required. We don't need to. And then I'm gonna also neutral my trim, because even though that's a part of our entry checklist to check trim neutral, we would want to leave the trim to neutral. Oh, by the way, let me not idle the engine so much here. I want to keep it at like 800 RPM or something. Okay, trim's good. In terms of shutdown, we would set the parking brakes. We've already done that. We would turn off the radios here. Turn this off. avionics master off, and then make sure that our nav lights are off as well. I hate that I have to scroll through this thing, but it is what it is, I guess. Oh boy. Okay, there you go. So that's off. By the way, you turn off everything just to make sure that you're not loading up the electrical system with a bunch of stuff. So yeah, you turned off the master switch, throttle closed, okay, and then mixture idle cut off. Cut the mixture off. We leave the props to full because the checklist doesn't call us to really mess with the props. Magnetos will now go to off, and then control wheel, we can secure the control wheel, and then doors and windows close and secure, tie downs and all of that. We'll do it while we do our outro. Okay, let's get our headphones out and make sure that everything is secure. Documents are secure, everything is good. Don't see anything obvious that's wrong. Flaps are also up. Okay, so let's do our outro while setting up our aircraft here at Santos Dumont. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this flight, and hopefully you guys will also enjoy this series. I am honestly really excited for this series because I love doing these kind of videos, and like I said, when what I like doing matches with what people like watching, that's when I get really excited. So I'm super pumped to age this airplane and also like see how it reacts to all that aging. We'll fly at different locations. Even though we have a November tail number, don't worry, we'll fly everywhere. We'll fly everywhere in the world. So yeah, tag along. Hopefully you guys enjoy these videos. Make sure you leave a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. YouTube has been obliterating my channel in terms of reach. I don't know why, but if you're watching this, I would highly appreciate if you guys can leave a like on the video. It helps a lot with my motivation to make these videos after having a full-time job, and then it also helps the channel reach more people like ourselves. So highly will appreciate that. But yeah, just getting the tie downs on. Looks like we have all the tie downs and wheel chokes on. Airplane is looking nice. I am going to wash the airplane maybe next time. Hopefully the wife had a good flight, and we'll fly with her again next time. Comment down below what locations you would want me to fly. I would also love to explore some new locations that are really good for general aviation airplanes. So yeah, just leave a comment down below and we'll make sure to cover those locations in the next flight. Alright, pretty long video, but hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys on the next one, and have a good week or weekend.